Yo, what's good? It's Jack back again with another video, and today I'm going to show you guys how you can make an authentic, realistic sounding R&B guitar sample. The first thing we did was we got some guitar chords. That's obviously what we started with, the most important part of the sample. So for the guitar sample, I used Evolution Jazz Archtop. So I used a preset called Somnambulant. Yeah, I didn't really mess with any of these settings really. I just kind of left them on the default. The way I made this melody was literally, it all starts from a minor chord really. You want to strum it as well to give it that realistic, you know, guitar sound. So instead of just hitting like that, you know, Alt S. Mess with this setting here, and then this C sharp here is kind of like a sliding note, so that is like that, just slides down and up again, and it just sounds really nice. This note here is on the snare. It's a G sharp, so like listen to the way it kind of sounds after it hits after the chord. Yeah, it just helps break up this chord and this chord. Like, I don't know, it's just nice. It's a nice little add-on. I can't really go too much into depth with this part because obviously, you know, yeah, it's a lot of experimentation. The one thing I can show you though is to really get that R&B sound is to do a harmonic minor chord. So instead of the chord being like this, so that's how it was before, right? That's this chord. We get the root note, which is G sharp, pitch it down 1 to G. It just gives that really nice R&B vibe that you hear in so many songs. Like, that's really a go-to for R&B, I would say. As long as you get something like this in there, just make sure when you're making your progression it makes sense. Like, for example, these two chords go together so well, these two go together so well, these two go together so well, and then these two just kind of work in pairs, I guess. Like, that's a good way to think about it, really. Like, start, you know, 2 at a time. Did these two sound good together? Okay, cool. Did these two sound good together? And just work like that. That's kind of like my workflow. Let's get into the effects. The first effect I used was guitar rig. The way I found this preset was I put it in on input sources guitar, and then on characters clean. And then the preset we're going to be using is called FG Indie Lo-Fi. It's really nice. It gives it that washed out kind of lush, dreamy vibe, which I really like. It just has a reverb on it, a little echo, a bit of a filter from what I can gather, and then yeah, a load of chorus. Speaking of which, after that we've got an RC20, and we're using the open up preset from the Analog Colors bank with the mix on about 45%. Just give it a bit more of a vintage feel, I guess. Then finally we've washed it in reverb. We've given it a 30% mix on a Valhalla vintage verb. Just give it a really nice tail and make it as ambient and sort of wavy as possible. But that's basically the first melody there done. For the bass, I used an actual guitar bass, Scarby Rickenbacker bass. We used the preset called Double Date. And essentially the cool thing with this is that it's hitting on every second chord. G sharp is our root note. So then on the second chord, we've got a G sharp and so on. So it sounds like this. I just think it sounds way better like that. It makes it sound a lot more intense, a lot more vibey. But yeah, we just used the root note from the chords, really. Like, this part over here sounds so sick. Oh, so smooth. The third thing we added was an arcade. It's called We Will Rise in Hooked. In terms of the effects, we've got an EQ, which is where we're basically taking off a lot of the low end and a lot of the high end as well. Up more, really just putting it in the background, but enough so you can still hear it. It's like a little vocal texture. So we're going to wash it out with some reverb as well, just to make it super smooth. This was my favorite. It sounds like some ad-libs, you know, if we had a singer on this, this is like what their ad-libs would sound like. So the next thing we added was a preset from Analog Colors. It's called FC. It's a plucked key. The way we made this melody was we took the chords. That's the chord, okay? So I basically just strummed out the chord like this into a melody. And that's a super easy technique to come up with counter melody, by the way. If you're struggling like I was with any of your chords, just take each of the notes and just make some kind of configuration with them like this. And the placement is really key as well because it's right on the snare. It's a perfect placement for this counter melody. There you go. So yeah, perfect placement for that, really. We've also added a vinyl effects, just like a noise. That is basically it. I mean, other than this little synth bass that we've got here, the one I always use, you know, you guys know the one I'm talking about. If you don't, it's this Growler Moog bass in Atmosphere 2. And I put a shaper box on it, which is giving it a sidechain kind of effect, and then also a pan as well. It sounds like this. It's not really panning that well, but... I just thought it would make for a good, like, drop bass. I almost forgot there is actually one more thing, and it is this right here. We used Glaze in the Contact Play series, and we used a preset called Clambo, which I believe is a lead. We just kind of, yeah, followed the chords again to make something like this. It's just a nice little texture, really. It's got a reverb on it. With everything in there, you know, it's just another thing to add to the general kind of sound of it. Other than the guitar chords, everything was quite sort of brief in terms of the space it was occupying, so I just wanted to kind of, that sound was basically the glue to kind of bind everything together. Okay, so yeah, the sample is here now, so we can go ahead and start doing some drums. Let's do some of these more weird sounds like this. Might use a snap, you know. Every other. It's quite nice with the little reverse. Yeah, we'll go with that. Let's do some creative percussion now. Let's get a kick in there. That is so fire. Okay, let's split that by channel. Okay, let's get a reverb send. So basically we don't have to keep adding reverbs. We can just send all of the sounds through this one reverb. Stepping on the snap. Real quick, I want to see what it sounds like in a different key. I meant to do that at the start, but I completely forgot. F sharp minor is going to be now, so let's see. I honestly like it either way, so I'm just going to leave it how it was before, just because that's what I'm used to. But so that is pretty much the beat done. I really hope you did enjoy the video. If you learned something new or you just enjoyed, then do me a favor and leave a like on the video. By the time you see this video, you'll be able to buy Analog Colors. For how long, I don't know, because there's only 500 copies available, and there is over 1,500 producers already signed up to the waiting list. So I hope you guys get to try it. I'm sure you will. Follow me on my Instagram at ProdbyJack, and I'll see you in the next one. Have a great day. Peace.